shines rise. They push me to divert my vision, but I will break the ceiling and the walls that kept me in for all this time.
Welcome back, everybody. We just had a short break after LCG versus Flatline. Flatline has moved on in 2-0 fashion to the semifinals against DFC, but now that we've had that match occur, we need to get down to business. We need to see Fluff versus Core Dynamics. It is going to be the decider match to figure out who plays against Status Quo in the semifinals for next weekend. So, on the side of Fluff, we are going to have, I'm not sure to be honest, but usually on the side of Fluff, we have Billboard as well as Marbles and Ned, Socks, Vane. Those are just some of the common player names. I'm not sure exactly who's playing today. I'll have to check in just a moment. But on the side of Core Dynamics, we are going to have I Spy, Breeze, Cross, Dagdog, and Red Elixir. So, going into this match, I'm here with Byakko. Once again, we're going to be casting the second match of today. Byakko, any pre-game predictions for this one? I'm not sure if Byakko can hear me currently. Oh no. But we will be getting into the match just in a second here. So it looks like
it is live, yeah. So let's jump on in.
So I'm not sure if you heard me, but any pregame predictions, Byakko, from you?
I think the obvious call here is Fluff. I mean, they have been the team to beat so far in League, and so far nobody has managed to do that. They've given them a run for their money, but as far as, tickling victory, no, has not yet happened against them.
And as I mentioned, it looks like we are going to have Billboard as well as Socks, Marbles, Frosty, and Vane all playing today. So that's going to be our side for Fluff up against the mentioned players I just brought up for Core Dynamics. It is going to be, I'm pretty sure, Fluff on the attacking side. So we'll see what they do.
Here we go. Set 1, map 1. Going to be the lovely, lovely Killhouse map of PAX Life. I'm sure everybody loves that name. Very interesting map, and we see a lot of this verticality of some of the newer Killhouse maps. VIP has been a common contender. That pixel peak on couch, something to worry about. Both teams will be very much aware of that. Oftentimes you'll see a person sitting in the backside of bar or stage. Stage has been a very big presence for a lot of these maps. Stairwell and office, also a contentious area, as anybody sitting in office can always bail out and head to bar and usually make their way back around stage. Security sometimes has that little bit of effect as well. There's a few very cheeky angles that can be peaked on this map from one area to another, and I'm sure all the teams are very much aware of that by this point. So we'll see who uses it to the best of their ability. I wouldn't even be surprised right now if we see a mop come out on this map. Not a common thing on a kill house, but this very particular map is one that we sometimes have noticed a mop being put into play for the defending team. So, I don't know, Addax, what do you think?
I mean, I'm thinking these 2-floor kill houses are always like a central for power weapons. We usually see Igmars come out. We usually see a mop come out, but I'm not sure if either of these teams really want to take that bet so far, as these two teams are a bit more on the upper side of the bracket. So there's really no predicting what they'll do here, as there's plenty of strategies to go by. So we will see Billboard actually split off from the group in a 4-1 push, something that we see actually Flatline do a lot. And it looks like Socks has immediately just put the breach charge down. The breach is already going off, as I Spy is going to have to counter this on his own. Nobody will be able to rotate. Vane's going to take the initial fight with him. Some damage onto Vane, but not enough to back him off. It is going to be Cross to come in with the rotate. He does still have barbed wire on him for some interesting reason, but we'll find out as Billboard takes an initial fight with Dagdog in the north side of the map. Light up is coming on to Cross. Cross is going to have to fall off. He's already low HP as Frosty pushes into the lobby. There's going to be Flash going off on I Spy, but will Red Elixir back him up? It is going to be the case. Getting wall banged through. Marbles is going to get the first pick of the series. Frosty immediately following it up, and Bane, another pick. That's 3 players all on the side of Core Dynamics, immediately taken out on the VIP position. We'll see if Bane drops here. He's going to go for it. Breeze on the stage. We are going to see Billboard finally rotate in as Frosty takes a fight on Dagdog. He's immediately going to be taken out. Only 1 player left. It's going to be Breeze on the side of Core Dynamics. Frosty taking the fight. He's got a 2K. 3 in the round, and it's the first round of the series going to Fluff. 5 players still alive, nothing lost for them except the utility used in this round.
And you get a very good idea of why Fluff is the team to beat, even their individual fights. As you saw towards the end on the top side, Frosty comes in, gets the kill on a dag, and then just immediately backs away. He goes into the backstage, he goes around the corner, he knows there's another guy there to take the fight coming after him, so he gets reloaded, reset, comes around, and wins that final 1v1 against Breeze there up on the top side. But, you know, just absolute crisp, clean gameplay coming out from Fluff, and, you know, we're seeing why they're the team to beat. You know, showing off early on, having a 5-0 man advantage for the round victory.
Yeah,
So
good
we'll
work
bring it
from them.
around. We'll bring it around to map number 2. I gotta say, Core Dynamics are definitely going to be on the back foot here. They've just been smashed on round 1. They need to, you know, recycle their emotions, put them away, you know, get back in their own heads instead of worrying about what just happened, and try and make a play here on Crab Hammer, factory map that we have seen before already tonight. And we've seen multiple strategies coming out.
We saw it in LCG versus Flatline, so we'll see what variations these teams put a spin on here.
Yeah, we've seen all 3 different strategies of entry coming out. We've seen an office push. We originally saw the server room push. And then we saw that brilliant dock push where Flatline on the final map of that 1 just rushed in and just mauled the entire LCG group in the matter of seconds. So, and it looks like it might even be a similar play here, as they are marking out docks. They might just say totally ignoring office is what I'm guessing that call is going to be. We're going to likely see long-range weapons on the Fluff side, peeking from dock into that top side window along smokestack. And once they even make entry, it's going to be that aim over on the forklifts in server room. So this is a play that they maybe even saw come from that previous matchup, and they're just going to say, hey, yeah, that's something we can do. We can do that even better. We won't even lose a man on the way in yet again. So defense right now for Core Dynamics has to be solid. You know, they can't be giving up super weapons. They have to have their utility ready and, you know, just thrown at them at a moment's notice. Shots have got to hit from them as well, especially with any kind of super weapon like the mop. If the mop is missing shots, then it's just going to be the end of the round in an instant for them.
Yeah, I'd have to agree there, as the push is going to be coming out finally, as Sox actually has barbed wire on him, picked up from the last round. We'll see if that's used in a defensive manner as they take power or something of the likes. Dagdog and I Spy both with barbed wire on them. It seems they have just opted not to place down as the initial fight's taken. Cross gonna get it off, but Marbles has a pick onto Dagdog all the way from side. Cross is trapped. He has to cross over as Marbles luckily changes the angle he's watching. Cross is now stuck on the forklifts though, as a Molotov is gonna come out, pushing into storage now. Billboard trying to take the fight with Red Elixir. Red Elixir getting the advantage there. He has the high ground. He's gonna put damage onto Sox, and it's gonna be a frustrating moment for Fluff, but as we see Marbles going in, he's gotten the kill onto Cross into the power position, and it seems like I Spy is going to be crushed here on his own. Marbles getting a 3rd in the round, and Red Elixir coming onto a flank. He's got a 2nd as Breeze pushes in as well. Marbles is down, the Saber's out of play, and Bomb is just going to be an interesting position here for Breeze as well as Red Elixir. Red Elixir is on the flank, but Sox is aware of it. He might just drop that barbed wire and go for it, but it seems like he just wants to watch it. Power is going to get hit as Breeze. It's going to be a hard time watching the Bomb like that. Vayne is going to go through the smoke as Red Elixir is finally taken out on the flank from Sox. A fight ringing out now. Breeze alone on the Lagros, half HP on Sox though as well. We'll also see 1 HP on Vayne. If Vayne decides to tap this bomb, we might see Breeze rotate off. Breeze is actually going to go for the long run. It seems he's gone into a bad position, and he has to rotate in here. Vayne isn't aware of it. He hears the footsteps, and Sox think it might be a flank. They are aware that it might be a window play, though, and Breeze is going to peek it. He's not going to get the kill. 1 shot ringing out, but missing Sox. And Vaynes is going to clean up the defuse there. with 2 players still left alive on a bit of a struggling push there, as Sox now has 2 barbed wires stacked up on him.
And this is where we were talking. They need to hit those shots, and it was actually marbles early on, giving a huge advantage over in favor of Fluff. Health was low at the end, though. I mean, this was a closer fight than we maybe considered in that 2v1. One member sitting there all the way down at like 5 HP for Fluff. But maybe they lost track of marbles there early on. He was getting some shots off, and it seemed like I Spy for a moment just didn't even realize there was a threat behind him at the angle that he got shot from. He was kind of more worried about that server storage area, and Marbles was more than happy to plug a few into him and take him down before being neutralized himself. But that will be the second round over to Fluff as we head and finally over to C-Store. And yet another map that we have seen already, I believe. Neptune Eater coming out into play again. So
we've seen all 3 of these maps today, actually.
This is a map that can be very interesting on defense, and you see a lot of teams neglect, or not really neglect, but opt not to put anyone in that top side, because a push from Freezer, a push from Office, or a push from Storage, if any 2 of those are used at any given point, who's ever stuck in between there is just in no man's land. They're just going to get pincered off and just killed out instantly without being able to do much of a trade. So you're seeing a lot of teams opt for this bottom side of Storage where they can fall back, or holding in below Freezer and just mainly in the storefront area. A lot of times a player will sit into the arcade as well. But yeah, Bathroom and Office, definitely not a spot that you want to be, because if that pincer move comes in from the attacking side, you're giving up your life, in an instant. You're just hoping to get damage out on the way. So far it looks like it's going to be more of a push through the storefront windows there, just a breaching charge being deployed there, and then also just the standard push from Office. So they're not going to use any door charges on this map at all from the look of things, which that utility coming in earlier maps, I don't know if they have any left at this point, but that could be something that throws a little bit of a loop for Core Dynamics here. They might be expecting a red door push, and if it doesn't come in, that could mess up their plans on the defense quite readily. And speaking of red, it's going to be red on the mop there. So that's the only weird weapon that I'm going to say that we see right here on that super shotgun there holding arcade. But take it away, Addax.
Thank you. Auto shotgun is going to be on cross, so we'll see if he can make it effective at all, as Red Elixir's just going to be holding on to the bomb here. The breach is immediately going to go off. No Molotovs to counter it, but Red Elixir's there to counter it instead. 2 flashes going to come out, but he could get a second kill if he goes for the peek here. Marble's aware of it, though, as Dagdog has to rotate in on the north side with Sox and Frosty pushing him. He goes for 1 shot. It's going to be Sox lit up, but Frosty's there to trade him out. It's going to be a 4-on-4 here, as all of the defenders have been pushed onto the right side of the map. Vayne is pushing onto them. Cross is finally taken out, but the mop is still in play. Auto shotgun's out of it, but Breeze is finally going to be taken out by Vayne. Sox getting another on the flank from iSpy, and it's just down to Red Elixir on the mop. He's going to be in a difficult position here, but remember, the mop is the 1 shot. He's got marbles already, as Vayne's going to be pushing him. He's rotated out of the position, as both attackers think he's in a different position. Finally going to be taken out as he tries to pistol whip Vayne, but Vayne just on a superior amount of health. It's going to be another 2 players alive, another close round for Fluff, as all 3 attacking rounds are going to be given up.
Yeah, again, remaining members down to half health there for Fluff, but it's going to be a 2-man left alive for that win. They molly themselves out for that little victory celebration, 3-0 in their favor. Not unexpected, but we're definitely seeing Core Dynamics, putting some bodies down in the process. It's just a matter of they need to stack them a little bit better. We're seeing Red Elixir come out with the triple kill on this round, but he was the only one to chime in there as far as getting the actual frags on the entire round. So if we see Core Dynamics start firing on all cylinders, everybody getting their own frag and whatnot, or at least a healthy amount of damage out before being neutralized, that could be something that they use to their advantage to take some rounds away from Fluff. But Fluff just looks solid at this point. But we are going to see the side switch, as Fluff will now be on the defense. Core Dynamics on the attack. Maybe a change of pace is exactly what they need. But back onto Operation PAX Life, we saw this play out in favor of Fluff earlier. They made that standard VIP room push. We'll see if that same strategy comes into play here, though. Again, lots of strategies that can be used on this map. But that red door up top seems to be a very favorite thing, because being in VIP, being up on that overlooking platform and having full control of bar and dance floor, that's just something that a lot of teams really want to have early on. Because being on the bottom side, trying to defuse that bomb while somebody's picking at you from VIP, you just don't want that. It's not a good spot to be in, and you definitely need control of that upper area. Otherwise, you're just going to be, constantly pecked at and eliminated as you try and defuse.
Yeah, recently in these factories with generators as well as 2-floor kill houses, the height advantage is definitely evident, as these teams have just been completely taking over the high ground, and then from there it's easy lines of sight onto the bomb, and it's just difficult to get that aim to go up. It's just general FPS knowledge that it's generally harder to flick vertically than it is left or right. So it just becomes a matter of mechanical skill at that point. While you do have obviously the gun changes and all that, where some guns have different damage and such. I mean, what would the game be without that? So I'm not sure what plays are going to be coming out here, as it seems a little bit sporadic, but Cross is going to be the one to push security here. Clacker is on him, as well as a grenade on Dagdog. We'll see how he utilizes that. The breach might come in here. Yes, it will, from Red Elixir. Cross with the Clacker, waiting for the call for the breach as Breeze goes to that security window position. He is going to decide to fall off, though, as security's opened up. Cross will immediately take the push into stairwell, waiting for Dagdog to come in with him. Cleared out with no flashes, actually. Good utility save, but it is a little bit risky. The door is going to be breached here in just a second. The flash is finally going to go out. It's going to be onto Billboard. He's going to get aim punched into the desk, causing a moment of hesitation. It will be Breeze right above him, though. Billboard in an interesting position. He's waiting for the push to come out. As 3 players from Core Dynamics are stuck in this office position, they have to make a push out. And will the call come? Cross is going to get awfully close to the window. Billboard might notice it here. He does have the shotgun in his hands. He might get a kill here. Window's going to break, and Breeze is possibly aware of it as the fight's going to ring out. Billboard actually going to get one. He's immediately fallen off, but the cross trade is there. Sock's going to take out one on the north side with Frosty. It's Red Elixir, as iSpy is going to try to pressure the north side. And it's just going to be another pick for Vayne. It's a party for Fluff right now, as iSpy is just getting pushed back. Dagdog has to take a fight with Vayne, or else nothing is going to be opened up for them. They have to be aware of that VIP position, though. Dagdog's finally going to go for the drop. The nade is out onto stage. Vayne will be tagged up by that grenade. He's actually going to get killed out. And it's going to be a 2 versus 3. Finally taking some fights into backstage, but it's going to be Marbles and Socks. The dynamic duo. Marbles from the vertical position of VIP to clean up the round.
And there we see the trouble of pushing in from office. Once you jump down, you're dedicated. You're set to take, everything over. But if the defense from stage, and especially from VIP, comes in, it's just going to pin you into those corners there, and you're not going to be able to gain any ground. There's 0 cover there. So it's a ballsy play, to say the least, and one that does not end up paying off for Core Dynamics. Fluff there with a strong defense, and that's going to put them on set point for this first group of rounds here. And honestly, if it goes 5-0, I'm not going to be surprised, just given how strongly they played. And that defense there, I believe it was 4 members left alive, or 3 members left alive at the end, I'm sorry. And at no point did it seem like they were panicked too terribly. But we'll see what happens coming back around onto Crab Hammer, a map that we've already played a few times today. We'll see if the strategies from Core Dynamics match up to what we've seen before, and it looks like a pincer move. Something we haven't seen before is a 2-point entry, Office and Dock being those in play right now from the looks of what being drawn on the map. Probably a frag coming out here into the corner of Office, so that may be something that Fluff is very aware of. We've seen that grenade play used to great effect a few times today already. But needless to say, I think what Fluff need to do right now is just stick to their laurels, play as a team, and they'll have this in the bag. Core Dynamics, the gunplay needs to come out. They need to start taking these aim duels and winning is the big thing from them right now, especially on the attacking side where you have that health advantage. You should be able to get those frags if you're playing correctly. But right now, I'm curious to see if the Mop and the Super Shotgun will both come into play for this final round, if Fluff just decide to throw the kitchen sink their way and shut everything down.
They decide to do, as it looks like The play here for Core Dynamics is going to be simultaneous pressure from Office as well as Docs. It seems that they just want to go straight in as Fluff setting up a strong defense. We are going to see some similar barbed wires, but there's actually a difference here. We are going to see one, possibly an Office that might be played off, but doesn't seem like that's down yet. Frosty is going to be rotating to get it down in time, though, as Core Dynamics decide, hey, we're going to have more than 2 people going Doc. Breach is going to be down from Cross. It is going to be a wall charge on the O2 Doc. Immediate breach. It's going to be damage coming out onto the side of Vayne and Marbles, but Sox has the initial pick onto I Spy. That's one player for Core Dynamics out of the round already, and we'll see Frosty on the left side just holding it off. We are going to see damage going on to him, but we'll also see mutual damage onto Red Elixir as he's finally taken out from Frosty at long range. Dagdog is going to be rotating up to these server positions, though we might see a pick as one player rotates out from Fluff. Vayne is going to cross over to Frosty. That's going to give away his position to Cross. Not actually taking a shot, though. He's being very patient with his shots here as Dagdog is slowly going to push in. The flash is there for him. Socks and Marbles going to be trained their eyes onto it, but he's actually going for an Office take. The barbed wire might hurt Billboard here as Dagdog does have to push in. We are going to see just a stall here, though. Minute 10. Flash is going to go into Doc, offering a little bit of hesitation onto the side of Fluff. There's still 5 players alive as Dagdog takes the fight with Billboard. Billboard just going to take some shots in the back up, but Dagdog's in the barbed wire, giving Billboard the advantage in that fight. It's going to be 2 players left for Core Dynamics. In a dire situation, they have to get a pick here, but Vayne's already shut it down. It's just down to Cross and Fluff flaunting their victory. They're just going to go straight in for it. 4-man peek into Cross.
All 5 members left alive at the end. Just secure that for, you know, if anybody had any doubts, 5-man standing at the end of the game. Fluff.
Hey, for the UAV.
Yeah. It's Fluff. I don't know what to say. I mean, just brilliant gameplay from them. They are solid. They are dynamic in all shapes and forms. Not to take anything away from Core Dynamic, but you're looking at a team maybe on a different level right now. And Core Dynamic, they're going to have to work it out for them for set number 2. And we'll see if they can do anything about this brilliant gameplay that Fluff is putting up right now. But Addax, I'm not sure if we're going to see anything too much different coming in on the second set. I mean, Fluff just snappy aim, you know, good team mechanics. Everybody knows who's got each other's backs. And even when, you know, they lose a few players, they counter with some aggression that we haven't seen many teams able to muster.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. But a lot of these teams are looking strong, even though there are those 1 or 2 teams that are just kind of steamrolling everybody they come up across. So we'll see what happens here as both teams are going to be prepping to go right into the second match. Core Dynamics, though, a frustrating moment for them. 5-0 for Fluff. I mean, even LCG got some rounds against Flatline, and it looks like Fluff is just on the first round of these side swaps. They've been up 5 or 4 men at the end of the round, and then later into the halves we see more close one-on-ones and 1v2s, and those initial rounds just being given up immediately swings the favor of the match to Fluff. And because they have that confidence at the beginning, because they have those really good rounds at the beginning, I feel like it's sort of biting down at the morale of Core Dynamics, and it's kind of just like, hey, why aren't we getting any rounds? We're finally bringing it down to like 1v1s and 1v2s. Why aren't we winning these rounds? And it's just because Fluff is a step ahead of basically every team in the league right now. That's why they went 4-0 in the Swiss, and that's why they're one of the top contenders for the champions this season. So I would say impressive, but, well, obviously it's impressive, but not very unexpected for Fluff to be dominating in this performance so far. I'm not surprised to say the least, but Core Dynamics may put up a fight here. They have taken note of what Fluff have been doing, it seems like, and they might be able to turn it around, and possibly instead of have those 5-man, 4-man sweeps at the beginning, they might turn those early rounds into a 1v1, making Fluff doubt themselves. So we'll see how it goes, as it looks like both teams are going to be prepping here to go into the match.
Looks like a few substitutions coming out for Fluff as well, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah, we have Billboard, Socks, Marbles, Ned, and Vayne. Currently, it seems
few new names in there, and we're seeing the deep roster that Fluff has as well. Even when some of their main starters are not able to play, you have other names to fill in that are just as effective.
With that, but it looks like both teams are going to be prepping here. We'll see them go in just a second. I'm assuming you're with me on this one, and that Fluff is probably going to take it.
Yeah, I think Fluff have it in the bag. I hope both sides don't think that to themselves. We still want to see the best gameplay that they can offer right now, but Core Dynamics, they got to dig deep. They got to believe in themselves and all those wonderful things that you say in miracle stories. But at this point in time, I'm not sure anybody can beat Fluff given what we've seen from them, but we'll find out. A few rounds of it.
Even teams in the alpha season, I want to mention, they haven't beaten Fluff. There have been some really close scrims, I heard, but literally nobody in the league has beaten Fluff yet, and that's heartbreaking for a lot of teams, as it seems right now Fluff is just on course. They are a train that cannot be stopped for the finals. So we'll see what they can do, though.
Just waiting for this matchup to get started, but so you think you want to make your prediction for 3 weeks from now? Is it going to be Fluff as the season 1 champions? I mean, is it?
I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of these players for both teams, considering Fluff as well as Flatline, Core Dynamics, all of these teams, they have experienced players. It's just some of them have a bit more history and team chemistry than others, and because of that, they're just working really well together. They spend a lot of time in game together, and as we've seen, most of some of these rosters, like the Fluff roster and the Flatline roster, they all on the main servers have upwards of hundreds of games played together, and having that much coordination against teams that have tried to just push up and try to make a name for themselves, it's kind of hard to do that when you're just being shut down by a team that's played so much together, even if it's not from the alpha season per se. So we'll see what happens, though, as it looks like Fluff and Core Dynamics are going to be going into the second match, or the second set, I should say.
All right, and here we go. Map is loading in. We'll see which tile set we get started off first here, and it is going to be, drumroll please, Factory to start us off yet again. Been interesting to see Factory come off, because that's usually a map that you'd like to see teams really put utility to its best advantage. Tide Warning is going to be the map of the day. Not something that we've seen played yet in any of our sets so far this evening, but something we have seen quite a few times in the league. But just to start off, it is going to be Fluff on the attacking side, Core Dynamics on defense. And it looks like it's going to be possibly a two-way breach from docks and that top side red door into office. If that is the case, I'm not even sure what they're planning here. They got 3 doors marked up, but for the map itself, Toxic on the top side with power as usual. Kind of a rough spot to get to, but definitely doable. A lot of teams just maybe elect to give that up and then just wait for the utility usage to come into play, throwing flares and all that out. The smoke being deployed between shelving there will make a very interesting play, because we oftentimes see somebody behind forklift up on that top side with a long-range weapon like a mop peeking down. So I believe maybe the plan is to get full control of office and docks and then make their way to the bomb. And if that smoke does go there when the bomb is being defused, that means there's only one path around safely. And that narrow angle, I mean, you're just going to funnel all kinds of firepower through that and quickly be able to overwhelm any defenders that were on the top side trying to protect from there. But at this time, it's going to be Core Dynamics looking for a big defensive play, trying to at least get one round off of Fluff to start things off properly for them.
Yeah, the barbed wires they've set here might actually be fairly effective against what Fluff is deciding to do. It does seem like they want to bring a breach charge for the first round, but the majority will be going to the left side. Excuse me on that. There's actually no breach charge. It's just going to be billboard on the right side. They might try to open up office, but we'll find out, as Flatline's just going to, or excuse me, Fluff, not Flatline, is going to be met with a barbed wire, and Marbles is going to have to use his grenade early, as a very long range Molotov comes out from from the side of Core Dynamics. It's going to stall the push. It gives time for them to rotate over and hold the proper angles that they need to prepare for this push. Breeze and I Spy on the office. They're prepared for a breach, but also they can rotate back and watch the window. Dagdog's going to get pushed off position. The flash is actually going to mess up his positioning. Half health, though. He has to have a teammate help him here. Another flash, getting some damage on the Billboard, but he just gets the kill in the end on Dagdog. Breeze is going to peek out, but Billboard has a second. That Black Tar's deadly. And across, finally getting a shot off. It's going to be a mop onto Marbles. A headshot, actually. And we'll see I Spy try to take on Sox, but Sox has it. Sox and Billboard just running on a rampage now. It looks like Billboard's opting to jump out of this window. He's actually holding an angle onto it. We may see him drop out here, and that's going to be exactly the case. No smoke coming out for the rotate, and Cross might just funnel him here. That's going to be the case. Red Elixir and Cross are just holding it together as Sox is going to breach the north side. We'll see a shot come out, and the pistol whip comes out for Cross, but it's not going to be enough to take out Vayne, even though he is extremely low. Ned is always there to back him up.
Yeah, good gunplay there from Cross, but, you know, not a lot of damage coming out from the rest of the team, taking essentially not even advantageous, you know, 2v1 aim battles. We saw Breeze on the top side peek out of office over in a Toxic, and he just had 3 members of Fluff just shooting at him. Billboard picked up the kill there, but Billboard and Sox getting their work done this map, but I think everybody pretty much chimed in for damage at the very least for Fluff, and that was important to them. Core Dynamics, when you got players going down without being able to at least do damage on to the attacking players, you know, that health advantage that we've talked about, 150 health for the attackers, you got to at least get some of that chip down for your teammates to be able to finish them off later. If you're going and peeking a corner and instantly getting obliterated without doing a whole lot of damage to an attacker, it's just not helping your team. And again, we're seeing the 2-person push strats coming in on Fluff. And, you know, they're just bullying their way into some of these sites and rooms. And right now, I was seeing a little bit of too much spread out gameplay coming from Core Dynamics. They need to tighten it up, get together in teams, take fights where they have the advantage from the start, and use that to get the just man advantages later on in the game. You know, damage turns into kills, and kills turn into wins in this game. So, but now we are on to Disdainful Lotus, and it is going to be a C-Store map with a Skylight. We've seen it's been about 50-50, I would say, that we've seen Skylight come into play. Some teams just kind of, you know, opt to use that threat to its own advantage and not even, you know, go through Skylight, but somebody in Arcade or Freezer is always going to be worried about it.
Yeah, but that office drop is always a worry. Actually, in our last week of Swiss, we saw double Molotovs come out here in office and force the attacking side just into 2 sides of office. And I'm not sure if either of these teams are opting for that, but we'll find out.
One thing I have seen here, though, is even though a push through Shed is pretty obvious for a lot of teams, I have seen a door charge to use to get into tellers before, and gaining kills off of that before as well. So I doubt that anything like that will come out from Fluff, but we'll see. That's, you know, definitely a cheeky play that can be used sometimes. We will see occasionally the auto shotgun placed into one of those corners of the teller's room. Pretty common tactic, but let's see if the defense is there right now for Core Dynamics.
We'll find out, as Fluff do have their first round already. We'll see if they either take it and go to a second round up, or if Core Dynamics will stop the reign of Fluff right here and now. It is going to be Breeze holding the Skylight with Red Elixir, as I Spy and Cross holding the power. It is going to be a rooftop play for Fluff, as Sox is actually going to drop off and opt for the Shed. He does have the door charge. Billboard's going to be the one to pressure Skylight as the breach is there. It's actually going to kill Breeze from almost 3 tiles away, and Teller control's already given up. The shutters are open and shots are ringing out from Ned. It's going to be shots onto Red Elixir. He's taken out 2K for Vayne. Dagdog's trying to contest this Saber from Marbles, but it's not going to be enough as Ned pressures him out of position as with the kill on I Spy. Barbed wire actually going to go down mid-round from Dagdog to hold Ned off as he tries to take a fight with Vayne. Double flashes there, but Dagdog, it's not going to be enough for him. Vayne with 3 in the round is Cross. He's trying to rotate around with the auto shotty, but Sox is aware of it. Vayne is going to get the kill, though. 4 in the round for him as Fluff take another.
Auto shotty not even really getting put into play there. They might recover that in the end here, but just brutal gameplay coming out from Fluff. They have been absolutely dominant here, and we saw it yet again. Unfortunate for Breeze. He seemed like he was in a reasonable spot there away from that door, but that was a pretty good breaching charge to get the kill over on him. And I'm imagining that he got a call from his teammates that, like, yeah, they're on roof. They're on roof. They're going to skylight. And not 2 seconds later, here they are coming into the backside of Shed. And, Vayne putting that down and, hitting the clacker right away. And Breeze probably caught off guard when that door just blew open into his face. But 4 men alive yet again for Fluff. And, we're just seeing it's dominating gameplay. It's not just that they're winning some of these rounds. A lot of them have just been dominant in their favor. And likely to continue here over on to the Kill House map we have set up and get an idea of what's in store here. And it will be Tempest Night. Yet another map we have seen a few times over the last week. Not today, though. Or have we? No, it's almost like a reverse of the Kill House that we saw in set 1 of this map, where Office is now on the left side of dance floor and bar and all that area. Stage still kind of in the same spot of middle, but the strategies are both similar and the same. The catwalks up here can come into play quite a few times, and we'll see some cheeky plays through the windows here above security. Players like to go up there and try and take aim duels through the windows over in the Office and over in the VIP, but aim duels right now, I'm not sure is that something that you want to be doing against Fluff. As for the rest of the map, backstage is a semi-useful, semi-useless area. Teams can play there and, pull a surprise move on defense. But the entryways coming in from VIP up top, they're going to be able to look down and see over the top of the bar area there. And you're not going to have a very good time if you're sitting there in backstage trying to make a play over the top. You're just basically exposing your head and taking damage for free every time you pick a fight there. But from the look of what Fluff are drawing out, it's just going to be that standard VIP push from one side, another group coming in from lobby. They're going to pincer off lobby entirely and then just push from the bottom of the map up. And that's definitely the way to go. They've already marked out a smoke for the corner of bar. Very common area for somebody to sit, usually with a mop or even an Ingmar. But right now, Core Dynamics, they're going to have a very rough defense, and it's actually going to be a Gruber. So we'll see how that comes into play.
This play is definitely going to come into factor here. As Fluff, they are known for being able to pressure as well as just being able to split pretty easily. We are going to see the breach immediately go off. Cross is going to immediately wallbang it. He knows where to go for it. And it looks like Fluff is marked it on the map. The Cross is already rotated off as shots come out from Breeze in the main lobby. Lit up by Vayne, actually. He's going to go into a fight as Marbles tries to lead the charge. Vayne actually going to run straight past Breeze, giving up some damage. But Billboard has the initial pick, actually, from the mop on Office with Dagdog. It's going to be 2 picks in the favor. Now 3 for Fluff as Ned takes out Cross. And it's just going to be 2 players. Now 1 as the nade comes in for Ned. It's just I Spy on a shotgun. He has to go through his own barb as Billboard's just going to take him out. 3-0 already for Fluff. All attacker rounds going to them.
Only 1 member getting critically low there for Fluff, and that was Vayne as we see him getting team killed at the end. But 5 men left alive yet again, and we're just seeing dominance. And that's the only word that can be used right now in the part of Fluff. And it's nothing to the discredit of Core Dynamics right now. They've been, playing great, and, they've been playing appropriate positions, taking appropriate fights much of the time. A few questionable ones, but for the most part, it's just been that, perfect gameplay, as you would call it, as well, on the part of Fluff, where just every shot that needs to hit has been. The angles that they're peaking are being met up with utility coming into support. Everything that they could be doing right, they are.
So I agree with that. And Fluff just looking fairly unstoppable right now, and it's good for them.
We will have that side switch here, Fluff being pushed over onto the defensive. Core Dynamics now with their chance on attack as we resume play on Factory here. And Core Dynamics, they gotta come out aggressive, I think. I think giving time for Fluff to set up and work their players around to counter your strategy maybe is an advantage you don't want to give them. An aggressive play here might be the way to go, and it could be even what's being marked off here. Possible breach through docks and just a rush onto bomb, because as we've seen before, there's not a whole lot of angles to hold once you're in there on bomb. All this back area here is completely exposed. There's no little cubbies to hide. You've got two ways from the top side down to storage and shelving. Those can easily be smoked off or even just hit with, suppressing fire. And then the top side of office there is the only other threat. Few corners in the back of dock, but if you basically get in early on the bottom of the map on docks and you isolate those three entryways, you've got the map under pretty good control. The question is, will Fluff be predicting this? Will they have utility ready to come out? Will they have the mollies? Will they have the suppressing fire? Because if the attackers here for Core Dynamics do not get in there in an instant, if they're not in the room within 5 seconds, Fluff is going to have the rotate down. They're going to bring members from office storage everywhere they need to, and it's just going to turn into an aim battle, and I think at that point they win.
Yeah, and considering Core Dynamics is opting to bring night vision here, we might see the utility not be as useful to Fluff's hands as we see during Kill House maps as well as sometimes C-stores. So we'll see what Core Dynamics does, though, as it does seem they want to opt for power. They have brought all the night vision in the world as well as the Saber on I Spy. So we'll see what they can bring upon this round, as Fluff is going to be holding mostly office here. They are going to be aware of possibly an office breach, but Billboard's just going to be sitting in his own barbed wire, waiting for a peek on storage. They're waiting for the initial breach here on Core Dynamics. Waiting for it to be coordinated. Will be simultaneous, it seems like it. The smoke is in, but Sox actually has headshot across the map with the Gruber. Smoke isn't going to go off in time, and that's going to be rough for them. Red Elixir already through, though. It's going to be a fight against Billboard. Ned actually going to back him up, though, and Breeze is just locked outside. It's already 3 players lit up on the side of Core Dynamics, and it's looking like a 4th round already for Fluff. 5 versus 3. We'll see if Core Dynamics can turn it around, though, as Dagdog tries to take a fight against Billboard, getting a little bit of damage off, but not enough to get the kill as Vayne takes out Cross on the left side of the map. It's going to be 2 players for Core Dynamics, Dagdog and Breeze, stuck going through this barbed wire trench, and it's going to be Billboard and Marbles. Now Vayne rotating in with the mob to back them up. 1 shot from these guns, and Breeze and Dagdog are dead, giving a 4th to Fluff. We'll see what they can do, though. There is a flash on Dagdog. It's going to go out. It's a little bit off, but the kill could be here. Not noticing Billboard, actually. And it's going to be 2 picks. Breeze taken out in the back and Dagdog taken out in the front. Another round for Fluff.
And definitely an interesting strategy there, trying to use a split tactic. But in the end, Fluff, they called it. They called the play. They knew where they need to sit. They did not put anybody up in the toxic or storage just to be sacrificed early on. Held everybody back to where they could instantly rotate to whatever side they needed to. That center of the map of office with 3 people in there, a very solid defensive strategy to be used. And right now, we're just seeing again they have an answer to everything that Core Dynamics can throw their way. I'm not sure what Core Dynamics could have done differently on that round is the problem, though. They decided to go for the more standard push up on the top side, but again, it was just utility came out, corners were held, everybody had each other's back, and Fluff just, ran off with that round. So 4 game points here coming out as Fluff looked to punch their ticket to the semifinals next week. And it's going to be C-Store. It's going to be our wonderful map, Disdainful Lotus. Again, Skylight is a possible play here, but usually seeing more pushes coming through Shed than anything. At this point, though, I don't know if there's a door breach left on Core Dynamics. I was not counting. I know they used one the previous map. I can't remember if one was used up on the Kill House. I don't believe so. And it looks like a call is being made worry about that Shed push. Barbed wire likely to be put there, as well as storefront. And I think we're going to see a very solid defensive core of Fluff, all located mainly towards the storefront area. I don't usually see teams defend the top side a whole lot on this map. Arcade is usually given up entirely. Storage and bathroom tend to be more of the favorable areas to defend, as well as freezer. But only until that door breach comes out.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do here.
Core Dynamics, yeah, they're on the back foot, and that's an understatement to say the least.
I mean, we'll see what they can do. It is going to be possibly the last round of the series. We might see Core Dynamics pick up 1 or 2 rounds here, but I'm not so sure. We might see, obviously, that Shed push, as mentioned, and a lot of teams like to just straight up go for that. And with that, the round's going to start. Red Elixir and iSpy are going to be leading the charge here straight up, and there is a wall charge on cross, so it seems like they are actually committing to this plan. They're going to drop, and they're going to go for the wall charge on office. iSpy and Dagdog are going to be going for the position on Shed, and it looks like it's already opened up. Cross is right above. He's actually going to clack from above. A smart play from him. It gives him the chance to put more pressure onto the actual office. We're going to see Red Elixir clear out Freezer with Dagdog, and Nate is going to go out into the corner position there. But a Molotov is met to match it. 2 players now for Core Dynamics stuck in Freezer, but a wall charge is going to go straight into the Molotov. Marvel's taking the initial fight. It's going to be Ned on a flank to get 2, but the UAV is going to zap him out from that small skylight. Unfortunate for him, but the flank is shut down. Core Dynamics now in a 3-on-4. It's going to be Sox to take out another. Dagdog on 1 HP though. 1 bullet could take him out here, as iSpy is the remaining factor here for Core Dynamics. If iSpy can win this one out here, we will see another round, but with the situation right now, Dagdog being low, iSpy is going to have to be the one to commit with him, and no flashes for them. It's going to be frustrating as Billboard rotating up to the skylight with an auto shotgun. The UAV almost zapping him. It's going to give away his position, and he's going to opt to rotate out. Core Dynamics now stuck in a difficult position in a 2-on-4 while the gun advantage is on their side. A mop shot's going to ring out from Bane. The smoke is going out, and Dagdog's immediately taken out. iSpy lit up to 1 HP, and it's looking dire for iSpy. The aggression's there from Marbles, but it's in the end vain to pick up the kill. Another 5-0 for Fluff, cleaning up the series 2-0.
Perfect victory there as far as victories go. Fluff not giving up a single round, multiple rounds with all 5 members left alive, including the final here, I believe. So only Ned going down to the UAV early, if you want to count that. But, a force to be reckoned with coming up in future, rounds of this tournament. And as it stands, I don't know if Fluff are even sweating after some of these games. They seem like they've just had such a dominating performance that I can't imagine that they were too worried coming in. You hope that they still respect, though, the abilities of Core Dynamics, and that might be why we saw such vicious gameplay from them, where they were just like, hey, we're not going to go easy on you. We're going to come out swinging. You better be ready for it. And as we saw that, in the case of Core Dynamics, they just didn't have the punching ability to come back and fight against what Fluff were throwing their way.
Yeah, well, both of these teams are on the top 8, making it to the end of these playoffs. It is going to be Fluff to actually win it out, and I am pretty sure we'll have an interview here with Billboard in just a moment. But impressive work from Fluff, one of their best matches so far, and considering it was in the playoffs, they are definitely already a force to be reckoned with, and that just proves themselves even further. Fluff being dominant so far in this season, and we'll see what they can do as their reign will seem to continue, as it seems Fluff will be going up against Status Quo next week, and we will also see Flatline versus DFC. But here with us right now, we do have Billboard from Fluff. So Billboard, would you like to introduce yourself, and then we'll get into this?
Hey guys, I'm Billboard on Fluff. We won the game. I don't know what else you want me to say.
I have 1 or 2 questions for you, and then I'll hand it over to Byakko. But first question, how do you guys feel about just in general that game? Because that was 2 5-0s, and I feel like you may be a little bit overconfident right now. Is that the case, or are you keeping it chill?
So I think leading up to this game, we were, but we kind of the last few days, at least I made sure we kind of all had like a rain check, because we were kind of, at least, so we haven't been able to practice recently because we've had a lot of scrims canceled, so we haven't been able to get like any good practice in, besides maybe like some pubs here and there. So we haven't had our like coordination practiced in a little bit, so I kind of just we just all made sure that we slowed down for this game, and even though we thought we would win, we just wanted to make sure like we're playing clean smoothly, and it went well. We got the 10-0, so I'm happy with it.
That was good work from your team. I really don't have any more questions that I can think of besides just congratulating you. So I'm going to hand it over to Byakko for this second half of the interview.
Yeah, just first of all, congratulations on that wonderful win. So coming up next week, I believe it's Status Quo that you were facing off against. So is there anything that, without giving away too many secrets, special that you've been doing? Like, have you been watching Status Quo, the plays that they do, the strategies they use, and like even for Core Dynamics today, reviewing what they had done? and coming up with special plays that you knew, like, hey, they tend to do this sort of maneuver here on this kind of map. Here's what we can do to counter that.
So honestly, we've been watching their games, but we're the kind of team, we're not really worrying about any other teams. Like, we're not worried about any other team. We're just focusing on ourselves. So we kind of think that as long as we're playing strong to our strong suits, like, we're just gonna beat any team anyway. As long as, like, so we're just focusing on ourselves. I mean, if we need to counter anything, we might, but I think as long as we're all playing together as a unit, like, we can really just kind of beat whoever, no matter what they're doing.
Kind of a good way to go about it. Just try to beat yourselves and not, worry about the other team as much.
Yeah.
But definitely crisp, clean gameplay that we've seen to you. And on that note, I mean, I don't want to go too far out and say that maybe you are the team to watch right now, but to some of the up and coming players, that maybe are looking at playing into season 2 and just interested in due process in general, do you have any tips for them? Because that's something that we always like to hear from top level players and teams is what can you do to make yourself better?
I think that the two biggest things are utility usage and communication, and those go hand in hand. So, like, a big thing is not wasting flashes, because at least the current state of the game with how strong flashes are, you only really need one flash to clear a room. Some rooms, obviously, they're going to be bigger and you need to kind of section off your flashes, but generally, if you have good communication and teamwork, and you know where your teammates are flashing and what's getting covered, what angles are getting watched, like, it's pretty hard to beat that. So the biggest thing is just communication, just making sure you need to kind of start out by just making all of your intentions clear, and then once things kind of smooth over, once you play together more, you'll kind of build that team cohesion, and then you kind of instinctually know, like, who's watching what, like, what their typical play patterns are on your team and stuff like that. So the big thing is just time, communication, and then utility usage.
There you have it.
Unless you have any final words you want to say to your fans, and I think we'll close this up. Is there anything you want to say?
No, I mean, we're excited for the next game. I think SQ is probably the most improved team, I would say. Week 1 they were looking a little bit rough. Like, they definitely had potential, but the communication wasn't there. But I think from their games recently, especially that red team game, I think their comms have been a lot better. It looks like they're working together a lot more. So I'm excited to see what the new SQ is.
You're glad to hear that. But other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up for today, Byakko, unless you have any post-game notes. You got anything to say?
No, that'll be it. And we're looking forward to the semifinals coming in next week for Due Process League. So everyone stay tuned for that.
Yeah, today we saw Flatline actually went out against LCG 2-0, and then we also saw Fluff went out 2-0 against Core Dynamics. So some pretty impressive games today. But keep in mind, we will see Flatline versus DFC as well as Fluff versus Status Quo next weekend. So make sure to set your reminders. Make sure to stop by next weekend, as those are going to be some interesting matches. And other than that, I think we're going to close it up here. And I just want to thank you all again, everybody who's been in this process of making Due Process and Due Process League such an amazing place to be, such an amazing community. And other than that, I think we're ready to wrap it up here. Byakko, you got anything to say?
Just a big thanks for everybody to come out and watch our gameplay footage here. And again, hope to see you again next week.